Welcome to Paint the Town Dead. It is October and things are spooky. And I'm talking first. That's spooky and weird and crazy, isn't it? Isn't it? You're also here.
Oh, it's me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. I'm the other half of the host. I'm Caitlin.
That's Caitlin and I am Andrew.
Hello.
I am your spooky host for the day.
Hello.
Because it's October and things are spooky now.
And it's your story today.
It is my story.
Your stories? I don't know. The world may never know.
I mean, it's one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
You know, all those times. I mean, there's been like one time we did two.
Yeah, and that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Who knows? It's October. Who knows what can happen?
Anything can happen. Real quick, I just want to say.
Yes.
Halloween.
Uh-huh. It's a great holiday.
Instead of having it be October 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think this is not an original idea, I don't think.
Okay, tell me.
They should have it be like the last Friday or last Saturday of the month instead.
So everybody can trick or treat?
Yeah, so it's not going to be like,
when do we trick or treat?
It's
a Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Yeah, suck it.
Yeah.
What you going to do about it?
But that's the fun part when you're a kid. It's like, it's Tuesday and I'm out past 5 o'clock on a school night.
But then you got to go to school the next day.
Well, you got candy and you're a kid, so you're fine.
I guess. It just doesn't feel like a real holiday. When you go to school, you get out of school, and you go back to school.
That's true.
It doesn't feel like a holiday.
But Halloween's on Friday or Saturday this year?
I have no idea.
I know it's one of those days because that's my 4-day weekend.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know last time I celebrated Halloween.
Aww.
It was probably like 2007 or something.
Was that that was a long time ago.
That was 13 years ago.
Ugh. 13. You did not.
Spooky numbers.
And also spooky just because 2007 was 13 years ago.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
2007 is a teenager now. Just FYI.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty close to people born this century being able to drink.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Feels good, don't it?
No, it don't. Yeah, I guess that's next year, huh? Wow.
Yep.
That's weird.
It reminds me of when I went back to college and I was in the community college and I was talking to this guy about baseball and he's like
who? Who's Mark McGuire?
Well, he was like, I'm a Yankees fan. And I was like, nobody likes the Yankees. You're a horrible person for that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't remember what I said. I think I asked him like when he became a fan.
Uh-huh.
And it was like sometime after they were actually good. Mm-hmm. And that kind of blew my mind because I grew up with the Yankees of the 90s and early 2000s who were really, really good. And I realized, he saw them win one World Series because he's 18. And being 18 means he was born like 99 or something at that point. I was like, he didn't see any of this baseball that I saw.
See, kids born in 2002 are 18 now.
Yep.
Is that math right?
I think that's right.
Well, that's just weird.
Depending on their birthday, yeah.
Because in 2002, I could remember things. I remember 2002.
Oh, yeah.
Just weird.
I mean, I was like 13 or whatever, so.
That's so weird.
Indeed it is.
Okay.
Well, I think we need to continue on.
Okay. I'm ready to be scared.
I mean, it's kind of a regular story, but an interesting one, I think.
Okay.
Is
it? I know.
Oh, do you know?
I'm going to spoil it. You ready?
Okay.
It is the story of Harry Potter and how his parents died. October 31st.
No, it's actually the story of Harry Potter and how J.K. Rowling keeps trying to ruin everything.
Oh, let's not talk about
That's
that.
a spooky story right there.
That is so disappointing. That's a disappointing story.
Even if you ignore her, like, social issue stuff, even if you ignore that and just go with, like, all the weird stuff she keeps saying after the fact, it's like, why do you want to ruin it?
Just leave it alone. You already have billions of dollars. Just leave it be.
Why are you trying to detail about how wizards used to just poop on the floor and make it go away magically?
Is that for real?
That's a thing she said at some point.
That's pretty cool.
But it's so weird. Like, why
I
would
like
you?
it. I approve of that one.
And also, those Fantastic Beasts movies are terrible.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a letdown.
So it's just like, maybe just leave it alone. Anyway, let's get to it. Today, we go to El Dorado, Arkansas.
El Dorado, down south.
And that's how we say it here is El Dorado.
Not El Dorado.
Yeah.
Because
it's always dicey on when you see like Spanish names.
Yeah.
It's like, is this going to be a place that says it, like, is it going to be Amarillo or is it going to be Amarillo?
That was the example I was thinking of.
Is it going to be Rio Grande or Rio Grande?
Rio Grande.
Which one are we going with? The answer is El Dorado.
Which is unfortunate, but
It's kind of like
here we are.
Lafayette County.
Lafayette?
We call it Lafayette County in Arkansas.
Because we're in Arkansas. We're not in the Cajun country.
Or France or Quebec. Yeah.
Those places.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could trust either some rednecks in Arkansas with Lafayette or the Cajuns who live in Lafayette, Louisiana.
I think I trust them, but here we are.
In fact, I think the school there, University of Louisiana at Lafayette,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the only school, at least in that state maybe, that has like a master's in like French or something.
What the heck?
So it's like they probably know what it's supposed to be.
They probably know. I think they have an idea.
I don't know. Anyway, so El Dorado, that's where we're going to.
Cool.
We are going to focus in on a woman named Mercedes. This is in 1991.
That's what I was about to ask you what year we're in.
Yeah, we're going back a ways. 30 years ago, basically.
Okay.
And
Which is actually pretty recent for your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I like to go back.
You do. Which is cool.
There's some weird stuff back then.
There are. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So Mercedes lived in El Dorado, and she'd had this, she'd been in a bad relationship with a man named James McAlphin. And like so bad that it was pretty well known because he would beat her and she would have to go to the ER for her injuries pretty often.
Bad. That's very, I can go ahead and not condone that and say pretty definitively that's bad.
It's quite the ledge you're going out on there.
I said what I said.
So eventually Mercedes is going to get the courage to finally leave him, and she's going to move in with a friend, move into her apartment. Her name is Andrea Cooksey. And at some point, Mercedes starts seeing another man.
Uh-huh.
And of course, McAlphin, being a horrible person,
he
got jealous, and he would like call the apartment and threaten to kill her and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And one day though, he calls and he offers Mercedes some money.
But why?
I don't totally know on that answer.
Don't trust him.
But yeah, I wouldn't have trusted that. But
The shady money.
yeah, for real, if there is any. And Mercedes, she figured she could use the money. She said she would use it to buy some presents for her 2 children.
Oh.
And the thing is, her children didn't live with her.
Oh.
So.
Were they kids with McAlphin?
No, it would have been somebody else.
Okay.
And yeah, so she leaves for the Whitehall Motel in El Dorado, which is where McAlphin lived.
He lived there?
He lived there.
Okay.
And it's, it's a seedy, gross motel. It's what you would expect when you hear the word motel in general.
Gotcha.
Especially if it's not like a chain.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was pretty well known for like prostitution and drugs being on there. You've seen movies. You know what motels are like.
I think I have an idea.
Yeah, it is not there anymore. It's been demolished. You can look it up on Google Maps. It's just empty lot, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Oh, man. Is this, by the way, you said Whitehall. Is this near Whitehall?
El Dorado? I don't think El Dorado is that close to Whitehall.
Okay, just wondering.
My southern Arkansas geography knowledge is limited, to be honest.
Me too.
I believe. Okay, so El Dorado is southwest.
Okay.
Whitehall is towards the east because it's near Pine Bluff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there we go.
Sussing it out.
I think there might be 2 Whitehalls or something weird. So she goes to this motel, and of course, she and McAlphin end up in an altercation in the motel parking lot.
In a parking lot?
Yeah. And eventually, the fight goes into his room, and a neighbor hears all this commotion, and he goes over basically with like the excuse of trying to get some cassette tapes that McAlphin had borrowed from him.
So he's kind of like trying to diffuse the situation.
I guess so.
Secretly.
Yeah, like maybe like here's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And he basically like shoves him off, and Mercedes is like, you need to talk to him about McAlpin. Like, you need like to help, but didn't really happen.
Yeah.
And but then she tries to run away, and he catches her in the parking lot, grabs her by the hair, and drags her back into the motel room.
No. And
while there, the argument continues, and then after a short while, a single gunshot is heard. And McAlpin is seen by witnesses getting into his car, leaving the scene, driving off. And Mercedes' friend, Andrea, because they lived pretty close to this motel. Like, they could just walk to it.
Oh, okay.
And she was walking by when she heard the gunshot.
Oh, God.
And she was like, oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
And she goes sprinting towards the motel.
Yeah.
Runs inside the door and finds Mercedes dead with a single shot through the head.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's a pretty open and shut case.
Yeah.
You know, it's very obvious who did it.
Yeah.
Though he initially tried to claim that she shot herself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But eventually he's going to plead guilty to second-degree murder. And that's it. That's the story.
I don't believe you.
You're right. Not to believe me. So over the course of this investigation, they find something peculiar.
Tell me.
They find an ID and social security card on Mercedes, but it doesn't say Mercedes on it.
Oh, no.
It says Cheryl Ann Wick.
What?
So obviously her real name's not Mercedes. Her name is Cheryl Ann Wick. So they start trying to track down like any family members.
Yeah. They
find her parents. They live in Minneapolis.
That's a ways from home.
And so yeah, and they're like, okay, we're gonna call them. This is gonna suck. We have to call her parents, tell them that their daughter just got murdered.
Oh no! I know where this is going.
And they do it, and they call, and turns out Cheryl Ann Wick is alive.
Okay, that's not where I thought it was going. I thought they were gonna be like, yeah, she died 20 years ago,
and she was a ghost.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Well, that's good that she's still alive, but also what?
Yeah. The real Cheryl Ann Wick is still alive.
Okay.
Her identity had been stolen by this woman in El Dorado.
And it was Mercedes.
Yes.
So was Mercedes her real name then?
Oh
my gosh.
We're going to keep going here.
Okay.
Because you don't even know.
We've barely touched the surface. Okay.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, like crazy thing in the story, it's like the real Cheryl Ann Wick, I think it was her sister, called her crying, and it's like, no, I'm alive. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm here. It's me.
Nobody has shot me. I am fine.
Wow.
And so she had previously lost her social security card, this Cheryl Ann Wick, and her ID when she was working in a club in Minneapolis as a dancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But did she work with this person? The not Mercedes, not Cheryl?
She said she did not recognize her.
Okay.
But so who knows if she was the one who actually grabbed it or if she got it from somebody who grabbed it.
Right. Bought it or something.
So now we're like, who is this person? Because her name's probably not Mercedes. It's definitely not Cheryl Ann Wick. Mm-hmm. So they're going through her possessions. They find she's got some restaurant menus. There's some from Texas and some from Virginia. There's a bunch of photographs. So there's tons of photographs of this woman. Uh-huh. So we know exactly what she looked like. And there's a journal, and the journal, it helps a little bit, maybe like suss out some stuff. Like there's a part where she was living with somebody named Gail and Tyrone.
Which is like in Eastern, very Eastern, isn't it?
No, those are people. She's living with people named Gail and Tyrone.
I thought you were saying she's living with Gail in Tyrone.
No.
Which is isn't there? No, it's a Tyronza.
Tyronza,
Arkansas.
Notorious speed trap.
Sure.
I believe that's all it's known for.
Okay, sorry. No, continue. Forget what I said.
But even then, it's like Gail who, Tyrone who.
I see.
Who are these people? They don't ever find out, really.
Okay.
And then they find a Bible. and it has a family name in it of Stroud. So, and it's got like all of their first names in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, maybe she's related to these people. And they track them down. They're living in Irving, Texas.
Oh.
And they are an African-American family, which means they're probably not related to this Jane Doe because she was a blonde white lady.
Oh, nope. Yep. Probably not.
She did stay with them for a while, though.
Why would she take their Bible?
Maybe they gave it to her. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the story they got was that she had moved to Irving from Minneapolis and was a runaway from Louisiana.
Okay.
And they also found a copy of a letter from the police to the FBI in which it says that she had been arrested. She had been arrested for a crime. I would have to. I don't remember which one it is.
Uh-huh.
And she told the police that she was wanted in Virginia and the East Coast for a bank robbery.
What?
And the name she gave them was Kelly Lee Carr.
Okay.
But eventually, like, nothing comes of that. They're like, we don't know who you are, what you're talking about, and it sounds like you're making this up.
Okay.
So her background is very muddled. It's
one might say.
Yeah. So what they do know for sure is she was working at a KFC in Dallas, and she also during that time worked as a dancer, and that's where she would have met McAlpin.
Uh-huh.
And she also danced and worked in like Little Rock and Shreveport before.
Oh, so she kind of went all over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they even know at some point she was in California for a time.
Wow.
And so she's in all those places before she ends up in El Dorado. And they were able to confirm that she had quite the arrest record.
Uh-huh.
So in December of 1990, she was arrested in Dallas for prostitution.
Under what name?
I don't have a name on that one.
Okay.
I've got a whole list of names. I'm going to read out to you in a minute.
Gosh. Okay. Okay.
She was arrested again in January of 91 and in February for public lewdness at a motel in Garland, Texas.
I feel that.
And May of 91, she was arrested in Minneapolis for passing out bad checks.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have a list of aliases that we know of.
Oh my gosh.
I would say.
Holy cow. Okay.
We've got your Mercedes, Cheryl Ann Wick, Kelly Lee Carr, Shannon Wiley, Cheryl Kaufman, Sharon Wiley, and Helen Stinner. And the really fun part is that she would often spell them slightly differently. So like Cheryl would sometimes be with a C and sometimes with an S.
Oh.
Just make it even that much more confusing.
That is tricky.
Yeah, so this one's, it's just like, who
are you?
Yeah, having a very difficult time here.
Yeah.
So she said that she used different names to avoid embarrassing people that she had left behind because she's involved in prostitution, dancing, and all that stuff.
What do you think about that? Debatable.
It seems more like it's to
throw off the cops.
Yeah.
I think so.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
And she didn't just have different names. She would tell different backstories of like where she came from or whatever.
This is crazy.
And like, for one of the things she would tell people is that she was the daughter of a mafia boss, and she was in federal witness protection.
Don't think so.
And yeah, there was no evidence found that was the case in any way, shape, or form.
This story has not been corroborated. And
she also, obviously, she had a rough life, had a rough go of it.
Yeah.
And like she stayed at the Salvation Army in El Dorado, like lived there, and she also would volunteer there or some.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And while she was there, she told one of the volunteers that she had stayed at a homeless shelter in Dallas. And while she was there, social services took away her child. And since she was using yet another alias back then, she wasn't able to get her child back.
Wow.
And thing is, the records from that shelter are no longer available. They were destroyed or something. And nobody working there at the time is around anymore.
What?
And she actually told her roommate Andrea Cooksey,
Yeah.
that she had previously been used in a plot to rob truckers.
What?
And that was why she was on the run.
What kind of stories are these?
So as part of the plan, basically, she would lure truckers in at a rest stop, and then a man would come out and rob them at gunpoint. And she claimed that at one point, the man actually shot and killed one of the truckers. This revelation after the fact made her a person of interest in the murder of a man named Dwayne McCorkindale, who was a trucker that was murdered in Oklahoma. And the suspects, there was a white male, a black male, and a white female.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay, keep going.
So they do DNA and fingerprints, and they don't find anything that links our Jane Doe to that murder.
Okay.
As interesting as that would have been.
Yeah.
So kind of running dry here on leads.
Going cold.
Yeah. McAlpin, who is he got out of jail at some point, but he ended up back in jail for domestic violence.
Oh.
As you know how that goes.
Huh.
He claims that he knows exactly who she is, what her real name is, and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, if you knew what her real name was, it would solve all these other cold cases and stuff like that.
You can't be saying crap like that, dude.
Yeah, especially because he says he won't say who she is, unless he gets paid $4,000.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah, it's kind of low, isn't it?
4,000?
Yeah, but still, you know.
Dude, if you're going to like wager, you got to start high and then come down.
Yeah, so he claims that she was taken away from her family when she was 16 and forced into prostitution in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Oh my gosh, do you think that's true?
I don't know, because it's hard to say, because he even says stuff like she was from Florida, so then it's like, why did they end up in
Dallas,
DFW?
yeah.
And he also claims that he met her parents. And
What?
That's what he says.
Okay.
He doesn't seem very trustworthy.
Yeah.
Like the lead detective on this case is like, what's the quote? Oh, she has like a very good quote, which is, he doesn't have the truth in him.
Very good. All right.
Yeah. So also, just a little editorializing, I don't think that she would have even like told him the truth the way everything else is going.
Well, he's a terrible person.
Yeah. Well, it just seems like even he wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Even though they were like together for years or whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of suspect he would still only have half the picture or something.
She's holding her was it her hand close?
Keeping her cards close
That's
to the chest.
There you go. That's it. You got it.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of DNA?
Maybe once or twice.
All right. So, are you familiar with the Golden State Killer? Because her DNA was shared into the same site that they used to find the Golden State Killer.
Tell me the name of that site, Andrew.
GED match.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Okay. Cool.
So they found a woman in Alabama named Christina Tilford.
Okay.
Who had put her DNA into the system just to find out about her family or whatever.
Right.
You know how you do.
Of course.
And it turns out that they are second cousins with our Jane Doe.
Okay.
She says...
Do you know your second cousins?
Maybe a few.
That's cool.
Yeah. But when shown pictures, like, she doesn't recognize who she is or anything, but she says she looks a lot like family members. They have a familial resemblance.
That's cool.
And, you know, she shared this information and images and all that with the rest of the family.
Yeah.
None of them know who she is either.
What?
Yeah. So what they do know is that her father would have been a descendant of Daniel Wood and Mamie Carter,
okay,
who had 9 children in Virginia between 1916 and 1936.
Hey, she said stuff about Virginia.
Exactly. And but yeah, nobody still doesn't seem like anybody knows who she is. And there's no reports of any of their family members going missing or being put up for adoption.
What?
And one of the ideas is that maybe she was born out of wedlock and given up.
Yeah, yeah.
But so they're trying to get the family to submit more DNA and stuff, see if they can narrow something down. Mm-hmm. But for now, she is the El Dorado Jane Doe.
Is that it?
That's it.
You're leaving me on that?
I can't help it. I didn't do it. It's not my fault.
Holy cow. And the thing is, she gave so many names. It's not like she was a secret person. Like, they know who she is, but they don't know who she is.
Exactly.
You're leaving me on that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Hopefully someday we'll know more.
Well, I hope that maybe with... What year was that in, the GED match thing?
2019.
Oh, man, that was only last year.
Yeah, very recent.
So there probably wouldn't be... Maybe the next 5 years more DNA available, more advancement. So maybe soon we'll know. I mean, it's good that they have a familial match, but nobody recognizes her?
Nobody recognizes her, which could... I mean, that could lend credence to the idea that she was given up.
Right.
Without it being like official adoption.
Wedlock type.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
And also the idea that she, been gone since she was 16 at least, if that's true.
Wow. Wow. Andrew, you just laid that one out. You dangled it. You took it away.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. That's the ending.
I did my best.
Wow. I really hope that they can find out who she is. I see, that's what keeps me interested in cases, is the mystery of it. Like, I like puzzles and I like figuring things out, and that's what, like, you just want to solve it.
Yeah, they all do.
Of course.
Yeah.
But anyway, good story.
Yeah. Talk amongst yourself for a second.
Okay. I just got back from Eureka Springs, and it was a really great trip. John and I went. It was really fun. I went to Topgolf in Rogers. That was a lot of fun because I don't think I've ever hit a golf ball before. I don't think I've ever, unless you count putt-putt, which I've only played a few times because I hate putt-putt. But Topgolf, you lay a ball out, you take it's not a bat, what's it called?
A club,
and you just whack it. The point, you're trying to get it into these holes way far away to get points. Listen, I'm just impressed that I made contact with the club to the ball and got any points at all. I didn't do too bad, actually.
Yeah, Topgolf is a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, which I think I don't enjoy sports things at all.
No, you don't like it when somebody lightly lobs a softball towards you.
But I enjoyed Topgolf. That was fun. It's because it's not like you're playing with somebody. It's just like you're playing it. Well, I mean, you are.
Yeah, there's points.
But it's a solo thing. You're doing it by yourself, and then they go up and do it by themselves, and then the next person or whatever. It's kind of like bowling. But I suck at bowling, so I need the.
I like.
The bars
I'll take Topgolf over bowling
any day. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's outside. It was like not a cloud in the sky. It was like 65, maybe 70 degrees. It was amazing.
Okay, so real quick.
Okay.
If you have any information on the case.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, this is my fault. I didn't bring it up.
Oh.
I didn't have the number available to me.
Okay.
Like a dummy.
Yeah, okay.
But if you have any information on the case, you can contact Lieutenant Cathy Phillips at 870-881-4810. And if you want to remain anonymous, you can provide information by calling El Dorado Crime Stoppers at 1-870-863-4636. And I will post those numbers in the show notes in case you are like me and people saying numbers just washes over your face and it's gone.
Is Cathy Phillips the one with the sick burn?
Yes.
Nice. Thank you, Cathy Phillips, for that sick burn.
Yeah. So,
very interesting. But McAlphin, he hasn't shared the critical information he said he had.
No, and he shares some information that's like sort of like contradictory or so wild that it's like that feels wrong.
You're wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if we could find out, but
maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see what happens. He's not getting money out of it.
No, nobody. Does anybody ever get money out of these things?
No.
I feel like that never happens.
Never.
So it is October.
It is October.
Spookies are happening.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever had any, say, contact with the spookies?
You know, I feel like I have.
Oh, have you?
Well, sort of. Do you want to hear about it?
I would love to.
Okay. So this takes place all the way back in, let me think about it, probably 2015, about 5 years ago. Okay. I was living in Mammoth Spring at the time, which, if you're not familiar with Mammoth Spring, it's very, very northern Arkansas. It's literally 0.5 miles from the Arkansas-Missouri border. There is Mammoth Spring on one side of the border and Thayer, Missouri on the other side, and it's basically a continuation of the same town, but they're two separate towns because they're across the border.
Missouri, more like misery.
Oh,
sick burn.
Cathy Phillips would be proud.
Thayer, more like lamer.
That was really bad.
Yeah, I was going to say gayer, but we don't use that as an insult anymore.
How dare you?
Yeah.
We've grown up.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're no longer Michael Scotts running around out here.
Oh, man, it is pretty. I watch it through The Office, and some of it, I'm like, wow, that wasn't that long ago, and now it's not appropriate.
It wasn't that appropriate when he said it either.
That's very true.
That's part of the thing.
That's true. You're right. That's what makes it. It's for comedy. Okay.
Yes.
It's not funny if you have to explain it. Okay. So I was living in Mammoth Spring, population, I think it was less than 1,000. It's a very tiny. There is a Sonic, but I think it might be on the Missouri side. I don't remember. No, I think it's on the Arkansas side.
And say it sucks. It's like Texarkana, where you're like on the Arkansas side, you're like, this town doesn't seem that great. And then you walk on the Texas side, and you're like, wow, this is a lot more of a town, isn't it?
Thayer's not any better. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it's no better.
Fair enough.
In fact, they have a Walmart there. And Andrew, it is not a Walmart supercenter. It is a tiny little Walmart. It is not open 24 hours, and it is itty bitty. Like, I don't think they have produce there.
That's so weird. It's like a cheap Target at that point.
It may even worse. It is tiny. And
or like maybe a big Dollar General.
Yes, more like that. And right next to it is a Harps, which is a grocery store chain, which they kind of are in smaller communities. So that's where you got your produce from. A lot of things they didn't have that no Crochet would have, but that's okay. You know, it's small town. It's fine. It had what you needed. Got you through it.
So anyway,
I'm just trying to set it out. Get the feel of how small.
Set the scene.
Just get the feel of how small it is.
Bring out the atmosphere.
Exactly.
We want people to feel like they're there.
This is small town, rural Arkansas.
It's called storytelling.
That's right. Listen, the closest big city was West Plains, which you've been to, and it's like population like maybe 15,000, and that was 30 minutes away. Okay, so that was big city living. Not to poop all over Mammoth Spring. And there's some good folks there. There's some bad folks from there, or some bad folks that used to teach there. I think
we can just say that about literally anything, though. It's like, unless you have like a town that's like two people, one of those weird 50% ones.
50% of us are bad. Which one is it?
Yeah.
No, it's got some quirks. Anyway. It's right on the river, though. The river is absolutely beautiful. And Mammoth Spring, little park there, where the Spring River is actually fed from, is really pretty. And that water is cold. Very cold. In case you want to know. Okay, back to the actual ghost story. Here we go. So, I'm in my house at the time, and I'm in there by myself. Well, I have Jackson, my fat cat. He's there, too. This house was probably built in, like, around the turn of the century, maybe like the 1920s. I mean, it's old. It's very, very old. So, you know, the floors are kind of like, kind of wobbly. They're kind of like lumpy in spots. And, you know, it's clearly an old house. Anyway, it was kind of quaint. But I'm sitting there by myself. I'm sitting on the couch. I think Jackson was sitting next to me. And I'm studying because I was in nursing school at the time. So I'm sitting there just studying. It's dead quiet because I need silence whenever I'm studying. Dead quiet. All of a sudden, it's around noon maybe. All of a sudden, I hear my mixer going off, like my stand mixer. Kind of like, you know, the KitchenAid stand mixer thing, you know, with the bowl and the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So I hear it start going off from the kitchen, and it's pretty loud. And I was like, excuse me? Because I was the only person in the house at the time. And I was like, what is happening? And so, like, I'm frozen in fear because I'm like, did a person sneak in? Because these floors are really creaky. I definitely would have heard it. Jackson is right next to me, so it couldn't have been him accidentally jumping on the counter and turning it on somehow. And I was like, there is no way it could be on right now. And so I'm like, I start getting that cold sweat feeling, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like the dread and the adrenaline. It's like, do I fight the ghost or do I just leave? And so I slowly get up and I like creep. I'm like tiptoeing to the kitchen, which, by the way, the living room, it was like right here, and there was a wall, and the kitchen was right here. I mean, it was very close to, it was a very small house. And so at least there's a wall separating it though. And I was like, I'm just going to like quickly poke my head around and see if I see anything. And then I'll reassess at that point. So I poke my head around, and of course there's nothing there. I see nothing. And so then I'm like looking behind me. I'm like, oh my God, the ghost is going to get me from behind. And so luckily that didn't happen. So anyways, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go in there. I'm just going to turn it off. And I'm like hyping myself up. I'm like, it just turned on the mixer. It's hungry and wants to cook. I don't know the history of this house. And so I don't know if it's a male or female. I don't know. Maybe she was a curious turn of the century ghost that was like, what is this contraption? And so I go in and I look at the stand mixer and okay, it's kind of weird. There's an knob on the side of it that like changes the speed, and the bottom speed is off. It's not on. Well, also there's a switch on the back of it that actually turns power on and off to the machine. And of course you have to plug it in, but the switch was flipped into the off position. There was no power going to that machine, and it was still going. I'm standing there looking at it in the off position, and it is still mixing. And I'm like, please, God, I don't want to die. I'm like crossing. I'm not even Catholic. And I'm like crossing myself. And I'm like, what's the Hail Mary? I don't know what it is. And so anyways, so I was like, there is no power onto this, and it is still going. So I flip it off. I unplug it. I quickly throw my things into a backpack, and I'm like, deuces, guys, I'm out of here. There's no way I'm staying in this house alone. I was like, I will go anywhere. I'll go sit by the river and study, but I'm not going to stay in this house. And so I think that was the most memorable paranormal experience I've had. It was very scary, even though it's such an innocent thing. You know, if it was a ghost, I mean, I don't know about ghosts. I have mixed feelings about it. You know, it's like, maybe, I don't know, but probably not. I don't know. But I mean, that was an abnormal thing. It should not have been going off.
No, it shouldn't have.
And sometimes in that house, I will say, I did get an eerie feeling that there was somebody, like I was being watched. There was somebody there. It was really eerie. I did not like being in that house alone. Like my house now, I have no problem being alone in it. But that house, I did not like being alone in that house at all.
Well, especially I can see that being terrifying when, you know, just any noise, like, for instance,
a creak.
Like, I've sat in silence in your house at one point or another, and the Roomba goes off, and I didn't know it was going to go off.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it was a good jump scare.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It really terrified me.
You're welcome.
For like a half second.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So that's my ghost story.
One time, I went down to Arkadelphia.
What for?
I had a friend who lived there for a bit. He doesn't live there anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
So this is freshman year of college. So it was a high school friend. Gathered up some other high school friends. We went down to Arkadelphia to visit.
Oh, cool.
And we were going to go try and find the Gurdon lights.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Cool.
So I don't know what the whole backstory is behind it, but basically it's like these train tracks near Arkadelphia in a place called Gurdon.
Yeah.
And it is, there's a light there or something. I don't know.
Is it supposed to be like a train or something? Ghost train?
I don't know if it's supposed to be a train or like a guy walking with a lantern or what. I actually don't know the backstory.
You're just like, sure, let's go hunt some ghosts.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever heard of it. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's check it out. And we go out there. And we're walking along.
Yeah.
And we see a light.
No, you don't.
We see a light.
Oh my God.
In the distance.
Oh God.
So we're just like,
were you like, what the?
We were like, oh no, is it real? And also,
like, we weren't expecting this outcome.
What's going to happen if it
run
gets
into
us?
it? Yeah.
Does it murder us? Well, I don't know the story.
Possession.
So we start making our way closer and closer. We're getting closer to this light. It ain't going away. It's coming towards us too.
Oh no.
And so we're coming to this light. The light's coming to us.
What happened, Andrew?
And we get there. And it was just other people with with a flashlight.
Were they looking for the Gurdon light?
Yes, and they thought we were the Gurdon light as well.
That's hilarious.
And that would happen about 5 more times that night.
And then,
it's all just other regular people.
That's hilarious.
Mostly teenagers.
That's hilarious. And you're like, just looking for some ghosts. Don't mind us.
Yeah, literally, we would just keep meeting people and be like, I thought you were the ghost.
You were the ghost. I went ghost hunting one time with Sarah Jones.
Where at?
What's that place? It's near Jonesboro. It's a light.
I don't know.
It's on some old train tracks. It's a light. I've forgotten. Maybe she can tell us. But anyways, it was fun. It's mostly fun just like getting in the car with your friends and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go see a ghost.
Yeah, what was that what was the place that people would go to? Pumpkin Hollow, is that what it was called?
Yeah, Pumpkin Hollow.
That's like a haunted house type place.
Yeah.
Hay rides and stuff. My favorite memory from going there was you, me, and these other 2 people were going through like a haunted house thingy.
Who was it? Who else was there? I don't have recollection of this.
It was Jacob and Libby.
Oh, Jacob and Libby.
And so we're walking through this one that's like a mine shaft looking thing, like it's a tunnel.
Yes.
And so there's 4 of us. We're all walking in a single file line.
Yeah. Who's in front?
Either Jacob or Libby. And then I'm at the back, right behind you. And so we're all walking single file line with our hand on each other's shoulder to keep track, I guess, because it was so spooky, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, my favorite moment was one of the workers there who was dressed up like a zombie man.
Cool.
Comes up and he does comes up, looks at me, does a little motion, like little like switcheroo motion with his hand. So I pull my hand off. He puts his hand on your shoulder. And y'all just keep going for a while. And then at some point, I guess I hadn't said anything. You turn around and just scream so loud because this new zombie man was right behind
with
you.
With his hand on my shoulder?
Yes.
Andrew, I have zero recollection of this.
You were scared out of your memory, I guess.
That's hilarious.
It's a repressed memory.
That's hilarious. Oh, man. Good times. I like their haunted forest. They have a fun haunted forest.
Yeah, I guess that would actually be the last time I celebrated Halloween. So that would be more recent, but not that recent. Really.
Will you celebrate this Halloween?
Probably not.
Yeah. I really don't know what to do, because in my house this year, and I won't be doing Halloween with my niece and nephew, probably. So, I mean, is Halloween happening, or is candy being passed out? Like, I don't mind hurling wads of candy at small children. That sounds pretty fun, but like, is it happening? Ooh, I want to be dressed up as a scary person and then hurl candy at them. And then I want to cackle.
Okay, sure.
You want to hear me cackle?
No.
Okay.
Not on mic. That'd be
so
a bad time for
loud.
Everybody.
It's like, my ears. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Football sucks again.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Yeah.
Arkansas State got
Is this what you're looking
destroyed.
at? Is this what you're looking at?
It's mostly just me to point out, like, there's going to be more COVID stuff. Like, there's at least 2 NFL games that got canceled this weekend.
Wow.
So, it feels like it's not going to happen.
This is like your favorite time of year for football and everything, all the sports. And
yeah.
How disappointing.
And it's especially disappointing because, I mean, they probably shouldn't even be playing in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But also, just the fact that there are so many teams not playing. The only good thing about college football, because the games are way too long and have way too many commercials.
Yes.
The only way to watch college football is to be constantly flipping through like 1,000 channels.
Have a couple games going on at once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there just aren't as many games right now because obviously there's a COVID thing, but also like the MAC, Mountain West, and Pac-12 and Big Ten haven't been playing yet.
Oh, wow.
So
it's October.
Yeah, so you have like a lot of teams just not there. Yeah, the Pac-12 I think is coming back in November or something.
Why? Why bother?
Just because get that TV money, I guess.
Wow, they need something.
The FCS is playing in spring.
Who's playing against them?
FCS, it's basically it's the division that UCA is in.
Oh, okay.
Smaller so it's colleges. Like slightly below FBS. Except here's the thing, UCA is playing a full schedule in the fall when there's nothing to play for.
That's weird.
Yeah, they're playing like a 9-game schedule.
Are they playing all 9 games?
So far, they had the one with ASU got postponed, but they're supposed to play it this next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So
talk about that. I want to make mention. She doesn't know I'm going to talk about this.
Is she going to be okay with you talking about this?
Yeah, I mean, they put it on social media. Her and her husband have. A friend of mine that I work with, named Ashley, her and her husband Joe, their car was stolen this weekend, or this, I think on Friday, couple days, yeah, this weekend. Their car was stolen out of their driveway. Talk about spooky. She just had a little baby girl, and
especially if it was a ghost that stole it.
Well, no, it was definitely people, trashy, gross people, but it just straight out of the driveway. They don't know. It was her husband's keys are missing, so they're not really sure if he like dropped them. Maybe like they go for walks a lot. They take family walks very, very often. They live in the neighborhood. She thinks maybe his keys fell out of his pocket or something, or out of the stroller or something at that point, and somebody picked it up and found what car it was, and they just took it. They just took their car. Luckily, GMC, I will say, and I'm sure a bunch of new cars have tracking stuff on it. They see the exact route they went. They can see hard brakes and hard accelerations, which they took a lot of, so they were driving very erratically. And they bought a bunch of stuff. They stopped at a convenience store, and they bought like a bunch of just garbage, and they just left it all in the car. And the screwdriver they used, they stole their radio, and the screwdriver they used to take it, they left it in the vehicle. They took... I can't remember if they took the car seat, but they took the baby's diaper bag and dumped all the contents out and took the diaper bag and stole the radio.
Oh, I was going to say, if they took the diaper bag and the diapers, it's like, well, maybe they needed them or knew somebody. But no, if they're just like, I just want this sick bag.
No, but how awful is that? Like, there's a baby, like a little baby car seat in there and a diaper bag, and you're going to steal it. And she just got this car not long ago in preparation for having a small child, because she did have a little car. She wanted a bigger car. And so I'm sure nobody around us, listening probably knows anything. But if you do, please notify the Faulkner County Police Department, because what the heck? Like, who does a garbage thing? They literally went along the route. The car was found they didn't even know the car was stolen. Police came to their door that morning. We're like, we found your car. And they're like, what do you mean you found our car?
You're like, yeah, it's in the driveway, idiots.
Yeah, exactly. No, they had taken it and they had driven off the road and wrecked and got stuck in the ditch. Somebody called 911. By the time police and ambulance arrived, there was nobody there. They had taken off on foot. Isn't that awful?
It is.
I just feel so bad for them. I mean, luckily they said their insurance company is taking really good care of them. But here's the thing. That sense of your safety has been invaded, you can't get that back. And they're going to be on high alert for like forever now. Like, it, even though no damage came to them, which is a blessing that no damage came to them, specifically, that sense of safety just isn't, it's been taken away, it's been tainted. So I don't know. It just sucks. Right now is a hard time for a lot of people right now, and
it's very true.
Yeah, a friend of mine, her dad, he's elderly. He tripped and fell. He busted his face about a month ago. I mean, it was bad. And then he's in the hospital forever. And then he finally was getting transferred. He started having this confusion, but he's doing okay. Finally getting transferred to inpatient rehab to get stronger, get his strength back. Tested him, came back positive for COVID, and now he's not doing so good. And then her mom fell and broke her wrist. And it's just like one thing after the other. There's so many people now that can't catch a break. And it makes me really sad for everybody. And I just want to give everybody a hug. Here's a hug through the microphone. Hug through the podcast. We love every one of you. There's that.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay. Are you hugging too?
Yes.
You're not much
in
of
my
a hugger.
brain.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, that's a big deal that you're brain hugging.
There was one time when I was at work and
oh no.
And like
I don't even know where this is going.
It was just awkward. The boss's wife, she was also like the marketing director or whatever. Mm-hmm. She like just came up and gave me a hug out of nowhere, and I was just like,
I don't like this.
What are you doing?
Don't touch me.
It's like I almost felt like on Arrested Development when the mom hugs Michael and he's like, why are you squeezing me with your arms? What is this?
Someone didn't love you as a child.
It was a little odd, but
yeah.
I remember even making a comment about somebody and I was just like, this is really weird, right?
Who hugs people? That's so weird.
Yeah. She's nice. I liked her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I want to tell you about my trip.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you see any spookies?
Well, I'm going to talk more about it on a different episode. Okay. No, but it was really good. If you haven't visited Eureka Springs, Arkansas,
don't.
No, do. It's really cool.
Every road is like a roller coaster.
The roads want to kill you, but you just have to go slow and you'll be fine. We were talking about if you live there in winter and it ices, you're screwed. You're not going anywhere. You're stuck. Hope you have food. Hope you know your neighbors because you're not going anywhere. It's like in the mountains and the roads were built. Oh, okay. So Eureka was definitely built at the turn of the century, late 1800s, early 1900s, when they still drove carriages and horse buggies and there weren't cars. And it's on a mountain and there's all these old Victorian homes that have been redone. And the crowning jewel of Eureka Springs is, a lot of people might say, the Crescent Hotel, which the first time I've been to it, it was really cool. I'm going to talk more about it later. But that's not why we went. We went just to have a getaway weekend and it was really fun. And my wonderful co-host stayed at the house and
I was spooked by the Roomba.
And you were also just absolutely just horrified by the mannerisms of my pets.
Yeah, your animals were being worse than my animals.
All of them rebelled. Every single one of them rebelled probably against us for leaving. They're like, well, fine. I'm just going to poop on the table, which happened. My cat pooped on the table.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting.
And one of the dogs puked in the bed. And
that Andrew was sleeping in.
Yes. And then the other one.
First thing, we weren't even gone for an hour. Yeah. And we like crossed paths basically for you coming and staying. And we weren't even gone an hour. And you get here and Boston has shredded up a bunch of paper in the office floor.
Yeah. He was like, oh yeah?
He saw.
You want to see what I can do?
I'm going to eat this paper. What happened was he saw us like leave with a suitcase. And he's like, where are you going? What do you think you're doing? And he's like, well, I guess they're gone forever. They took the suitcase. So I'm just going to shred up some paper. There are no consequences anymore. There is no law in this land.
He looked very happy with himself too.
Yeah.
That picture I took.
What a turd. That was a good picture.
I was very unhappy with him.
You need to post that picture with this week's episode.
I might.
But then, yeah. And then Herc decided just to puke on the bed for no good reason. And then Jackson was like, well, everybody else did something, so I'm going to poop on the table. So
yeah, I'm really unhappy with that.
I cannot tell you how bad I felt. I was like, oh no. Like just the picture of first thing, Boston shredding the paper. I was like, oh no. And then you're like, yeah, Herc puked on the bed. I was like, oh no. And you're like, you text me, was it this morning? You're like, I hate your cat so much. I was like, what did he do?
Oh yeah.
And you're like, he pooped on the table. And I was like, why are my animals being so awful?
They each had to get one in.
They did. Hopefully they got it out of the way. They're pretty pleased to see us when we got home.
Yeah, I'm not pleased with them though.
I know. You need a little break from them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home and deal with some other animals that suck in a different way.
But at least somebody else can help you take care of them.
That's true.
It was all you this weekend. No, but we went to Eureka. It was a lot of fun. I love Eureka. Stayed in a really cool B&B that was an old carriage house for one of those fancy Victorian houses that have been redone. It's the old carriage house for it, and they remodeled it and made it into like a little cottage. It was really cool. Saw downtown, bought a bunch of gifts and artwork, which really has a bunch of eclectic stuff there. Yeah. And this morning was the best part. This morning I got an hour massage. Well, John and I both. We got hour massages and 30-minute facials. And I felt like a new woman. That is the quickest hour and a half I've ever had in my life.
Just because you were like, I wish this would never end.
Exactly.
Type of deal.
And that was, I had a male massage therapist, which is the first time.
Masseuse?
I think they're
masseur.
I think it's a massage therapist.
Maybe.
Well, he had a little name tag that had some letters after it. So I'm assuming he's some kind of licensed massage therapist. He was very good at his job. But when he was like, so tell me what you're expecting out of this today. He was very professional. I was like, oh, just want to, I have some tension and blah, blah, blah. And so I just want to leave knowing I've had a massage, but I don't want to be in pain. He's like, so what do you think in pressurized? I was like, I don't want it to be like a feather, but I don't want to be hammered. I just want to a nice medium, pressure, whatever. I will say about half of it was medium pressure and half of it was, oh my gosh, this is all the strength this man has. And it kind of hurts a little bit, but I think he was definitely like at the like on my shoulders. Like I know my muscles are tense there. He definitely found the tense spots. So was like, I'm gonna press on these until they explode and the tension's gone. So it was good though. It was the best hour and a half of my life.
That sounds fun.
And the massage, and it was at the spa at the Crescent Hotel. So that was cool.
When I think of massages, because I guess you dress down basically to some extent.
You naked.
Yeah.
I was naked.
I always think of who is that guy? John Mulaney's bit where he talks about going to a massage and they're like, dress to your comfort, and he's like, so then I put on a sweater.
Yeah, that's what they're like. You can leave your underwear on. Just take it off. You're covered with a sheet anyway. I mean, you're covered.
Sure,
you're covered, but
I don't want people.
It does feel a little strange,
and I don't want people seeing my horrible body.
They don't see all they see is like parts of it at a time.
Yeah, like my back, which is horrible.
Why is it horrible?
I don't.
Doesn't
gross.
see the sun.
Doesn't see the sun. That's for dang sure.
They don't care. So I was thinking like, it's like me, like at work, like when I see patients and
I bet they do care. I bet they get out of that room immediately and they're like, you're not going to believe this. You should have seen this person's horrible back.
No.
Oh my God.
It's like patients at work. Like, of course, being a nurse, you're going to see, working with patients, you're going to see things. You're going to see private areas that aren't normally seen. But, it's like, you don't even think about it. And you want to, especially for me, like, I want to respect your privacy and I want to keep you modest because nobody wants to just be flayed open and, in front of 5 people naked. So I try to respect people's modesty. But, we're going to see parts that aren't normally seen. But it's just a part. It's just a part of you as a patient, as a whole being. And you don't think twice about it. I could not tell you what anybody's body looked like in the past week. I have no idea.
Says you.
I do say, and I would know. So it's not that we don't care. It's just we care about you as a person. We don't care about your body parts. You know what I mean? Like as nurses, like you're our patient. We're taking care of you as a whole. And the same thing with them. They're massage therapists. They're essentially their clients, their patients. So
a likely story.
And a true one. I know better than you, so shush.
You don't know nothing.
How dare you?
What you been looking at?
Not much, really. Not much. We're reading. We're on the trip, which is kind of a lengthy trip. It's not an easy trip. It's not a straight shot. It's a lot of hills and windy roads and mountains. But we started listening to Harry Potter audiobooks. Book 1, Philosopher's Stone. John he's read them, but he hasn't listened to them. So I was like, you want to listen to the audiobooks? He's like, yeah, I've listened to them probably about 10 times, but I love them.
Oh, do they call it Philosopher's Stone?
I can't remember, actually.
It's so weird they made that change.
I need to look.
And also the part where like they filmed scenes twice.
To say philosophers and sorcerers?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
How did I not know that?
They sure did.
Okay, I have to find my app. There she is. You can continue.
Okay. I've started watching The Simpsons again.
Oh yeah?
That's still a good show.
It is a good show. It's funny.
It's really what's really funny is how tame it is.
It says the Sorcerer's Stone, by the way.
Okay. Just how tame that show is and how it used to be like the most offensive thing ever.
And you're like, really? This is offensive? I'll show you offensive.
Like I remember there was a lot of uproar about that show back in the day.
I can imagine.
In the early 90s.
Yeah.
But watching it now, it's just it's so tame. It's like,
it's adorable.
Yeah, it's quaint in its offensiveness. But you also think about once upon a time, the most offensive thing on TV was the time Kirk kissed Uhura on Star Trek. So
how dare they?
I think there was like,
I remember watching a little documentary clip about that.
Yeah, I think like some affiliates in like Mississippi or somewhere.
We ain't showing that. Oh, speaking of terrible places and thoughts, we had to drive through Harrison, Arkansas today.
Oh, yay.
I didn't notice any signs. We were really hungry. It was lunchtime, but I was like, we're not stopping in Harrison.
Have I told you my story about a sign?
The billboard?
I don't know if I've told it on here.
I think you did.
Surely I did during the Kehoe episode.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I know we've talked about it at least. You can tell it again, but I'm pretty sure you've told it already.
Yeah. I'll tell it real quick just in case I've told it before, but driving through Harrison, and I was a passenger, and I see a billboard, and it says like, it's not racist to love your race. Of course, you're talking about white people.
Of course.
And it has a link. It says whiteprideradio.com. And so I'm like, okay, let's see what that's about. And when I put it into the URL, I hit enter. The URL immediately redirected to kkkradio.com.
Oh, no.
I was like, okay.
Let's get off of here.
Okay, you pretended to for the billboard, but once you get there, it's like it's full on.
It's happening.
It's full on horror.
It's yeah. So we did not. I didn't see anything crazy. I didn't see anything crazy in Harrison, but it's just we were like we're not going to stop here. We don't want to support.
There's a really good restaurant there. I can't remember the name of it.
What's it called?
Community something.
Was it on the main strip there?
I don't remember.
That's all we were on.
But it's really good. I think it is on the main strip now that I think about it.
I want to give a shout out, whether or not they will ever listen to this or not. Going back to Eureka, I want to give a shout out to the person that we got one of my favorite pieces of artwork that I've ever purchased. And it's called Wilson Folk Art Company, or Wilson & Wilson True Americana Art. It's in downtown Eureka Springs. And they have, it's a mother and daughter. It's Sylvia's the mom, Blakely's the daughter, and they're from, I think, Oklahoma originally, she said, but they moved to Eureka because they're small town Oklahoma, and they moved to Eureka like 30 years ago or something. So, I mean, it's home to her, it's home to them. But I was talking to Blakely, the daughter, she was in the shop that day, and they make the absolute cutest, and cutest is it's very, I don't know how to describe it. Okay, Andrew, you know the picture. I showed it to you.
What picture?
Of what we purchased in Eureka this past weekend. Here, take a peek.
Have I seen it? I don't think I have not seen this picture.
Show you? It's in the room. What would you describe that as? What do you think? It's definitely Americana.
Colorful.
It's so colorful and so detailed and so precise. And they just have the neatest artwork, and they just do it off the top of their head. They're in the shop painting. They paint and work in the shop at the same time, and there's people in and out of there. And it's I love it. It's incredible, and I can't wait to buy more of this. So Wilson & Wilson, folk art, Americana art. I'm not sure, but you'll find it. It's on the main strip in Eureka if you go. Buy something. It's local.
Local to Eureka.
Well, yeah, but it's still local.
Not local to me.
Okay.
Because I live like 2.5 hours away or something.
That you do.
So, I played Mario 35. That game's neat. It's a battle royale Mario of sorts. So it's like there's 35 people, and you're playing Super Mario 1. And when you kill enemies, they get sent to other people's thing. So they end up with more enemies. And there's also a timer, and you do stuff to keep making time. Best I've done is second place, but
cool.
It's pretty fun.
Have you played Fall Guys?
Yeah, I don't think it's that great.
You didn't? I thought it was fun to watch. It's like all these people are running and trying to do stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of like goofy little marshmallow people.
Beans,
yeah,
little jelly beans.
It looks fine. I played it and I was like, I don't like playing this.
I thought it was fun.
It doesn't feel good to play.
I thought it was fun.
It's like when I play a game, I want the controls to be precise, and I don't feel like that game's very precise, and that's part of the charm of it. But I don't like that charm. I will not be charmed by that charm.
I like that Animal Crossing put out a new update, and you get to make spooky things and change your face color and change your eye color, and I got a costume from a balloon that fell from the sky thing that I had to shoot down with the thing. And I got to plant pumpkins, and everything's all Halloween-y, and I love it.
You can just do that whenever on Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Well, not really. You have to wait for a certain season within the game to plant pumpkins, and then you can make jack-o'-lanterns, and then they have a fake Halloween.
That's pretty fun.
It is.
What is your favorite Halloween movie, Andrew?
Great question.
Oh, you don't have one?
Not off the top of my head.
I will say my favorite Halloween movie goes for 2 holidays. Do you know what it is?
Does that mean it's the one with the Skellington guy?
Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington. Yep. I love that. I haven't seen it yet. We did watch Hocus Pocus, though. John and I watched Hocus Pocus the other night, which I can't remember if he said he's never seen it or it's been a really long time since he's seen it. And it's good. I like it. It's funny. It's cute. I love Bette Midler. And Sarah, what's her face?
Jessica Parker?
Yeah. She's in it, and it's funny. And Cathy Najimy, who plays King of the Hill.
What, Peggy?
Yeah, she plays Peggy.
Oh,
She's
okay.
so funny. She's funny.
I couldn't tell you last time I saw that movie.
You should watch it.
Maybe.
Some things are weird. I'm like, that seems inappropriate. But it was 93, I think, is what it was.
I almost feel like it's something where, since I didn't really grow up watching it, I'd just be kind of like,
You didn't grow up watching it?
not really. Like it's not something I'm nostalgic for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't really have much in the way of Halloween movies. I guess I would add The Witch as a good October movie to watch.
I have never watched that, but I saw that there's a remake of it.
The Vivitch. You did sort of see it.
Oh, never mind.
The one where you started
The
rewatching
Vivitch.
it halfway through, like 6 months after you'd started watching it before.
Okay, yes, The Witch. Yes, we did watch that. I'm thinking of the remake. They just put out a trailer. It has Anne Hathaway in it. Maybe it's called The Witches.
That's The Witches. It's based on a book.
Yes, by Roald Dahl. And I know, like, apparently it was a movie in the 90s, and Angelica Houston, who plays Adam, what's her name? Adams, Gomez, and Morticia. She plays Morticia Adams. She's a great actress, but she played in the original 90s one as the main person, I think. I don't know, but I don't recall ever having seen it, so.
No, I don't think it was that popular, honestly.
Oh,
I don't know that people even like it that much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, this new one seems pretty. It's got Octavia Spencer and Anne Hathaway in it, and I think Chris Rock. He's a narrator,
Oh, weird.
I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of spookies.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch a lot of horror movies.
No, me neither. Except for, but I've already talked about it before. Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, yeah.
I can't recommend it enough. People are like, I don't like scary. And I'm like, I don't like scary either, and I love this show. And Haunting of Bly Manor comes out soon. I'm really excited about watching it.
I like the idea of spooky stuff. I like it more of, I don't know. It's like, hey, it's fall, and also there's skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
It's fall, and there's skeletons, and we're just having mostly a good time. It's not that big a deal. Nobody's being decapitated constantly. Like Saw, Jason. That stuff does nothing for me.
Me neither. I'm not into that stuff at all.
But The Vivitch is really good. That would be good. That's a good October movie if you want one that's like actually pretty scary or intense and stuff.
It was a lot of anticipation and suspense.
Yeah. And what I did last year, I watched The Vivitch, and the next movie I watched was Wish Upon, which is the exact opposite because it's hilarious.
It was awful. It was so bad.
It really is.
So bad. And then what was that other movie we watched?
Midsummer's good. Hereditary.
Don't watch it. Don't anybody watch it.
Or do. It's good.
Don't.
It's really good though.
Don't watch it. It was pretty scary. It was pretty creepy.
Also, I have a short story we're going to share next week.
Oh.
That kind of reminds me of Midsommar.
Is it true?
It's a true story. A real thing that happened.
To you?
No.
You're like, yes, I went to the Netherlands and I joined a cult briefly and I sacrificed my girlfriend at the time.
They also weren't in the Netherlands.
Where were they? Norway?
Sweden or somewhere.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
The Netherlands doesn't have the thing where it's sun for 24 hours.
Oh, really?
They don't have that.
Oh, okay.
That's like really, really north.
It's like in Ireland, the sun went down at like 10 p.m. in summer. That was weird.
That does sound weird.
Like 10 or 11. It was very strange.
Yeah.
You want your minute? You want your minute of wrestling?
No, I didn't put anything together.
Oh, okay.
Maybe at some point I'll put together a minute where I just talk about spooky wrestlers.
Okay.
Like,
do that for October.
Might do that at some point.
Do that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do a minute for each one.
I will leave you and then come back when you're finished. I don't
know.
Want to. Yes. All right.
I'm doing the outro.
Okay.
Because it's weird that I do it.
It is so spooky and weird.
You better believe it. It's like a jump scare. It just comes out of nowhere.
Oh no, Andrew.
So hopefully I do all of this right. We shall see. I definitely won't.
Okay.
We have been Paint the Town Dead. We are available on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, basically any other podcasting service. If you're hearing this and we're not on the one you want, let us know. It's weird that you're hearing us, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, things happen. Maybe you're listening with a friend. Maybe you're all having a party listening to it. I don't know. We are on Instagram at Paint the Town Dead, Facebook, Paint the Town Dead. You can just search it. You'll find it eventually. Mm-hmm. Twitter is at PTTDpod. Our email is pttdpod@gmail.com. If we get something wrong or if you have an interesting story, let us know.
We can't wait to share it, especially spooky stories. Give us all your spooky stories.
Yes, if you have a spooky story or something like that, I would love to hear that.
Yes.
Because I like hearing spooky stories.
And then we'll talk about it on air and we'll say your name.
Yes, unless you don't want us to.
Yeah, unless it's anonymous.
Yeah. And so I've been Andrew.
I've been Caitlin.
And, have a spooky time.
And thank you guys for stopping by and listening to us. Goodbye.